Some people can hear it, most people can't. And that is the first strange thing about the Taos hum. It isn't loud, it doesn't fill a room. Stand two people side by side in the same house, and one of them will be tormented by a low, throbbing drone, and the other will hear nothing at all. Nothing but silence. This is a small town in the high desert of New Mexico, and for more than 30 years, a fraction of the people living there have been kept awake, driven to distraction, some of them nearly to breaking, by a sound that scientists have gone looking for and have never been able to find. This is the Taos hum, and it is still one of the strangest things no one has ever been able to explain. Taos sits at around 7,000 feet in the mountains of northern New Mexico. It's an old place, adobe buildings, artists, a pueblo that has been continuously inhabited for 1,000 years, quiet, remote, the kind of town people move to precisely because of the silence. And then, in the early 1990s, that silence started to hum. The people who heard it described it the same way over and over again. A low, steady rumble, like a diesel engine idling somewhere in the distance, like a truck left running outside all night that you could never quite locate. Some said it felt less like a sound and more like a pressure, something you felt in your chest and your skull rather than your ears. It was worse indoors, it was worse at night, and once you noticed it, you could not unnotice it. It followed people from room to room. It kept them from sleeping. A few said it made them physically ill. Headaches, nosebleeds, dizziness, a constant low-grade anxiety they couldn't shake. And here is the detail that made it a mystery instead of a nuisance. Only about 2% of the population could hear it at all. These people came to be called hearers. Everyone else in Taos, the vast majority, walked around in a town that, to them, was perfectly quiet. So imagine it. You can hear a droning noise every hour of every day. It's ruining your life, and you turn to the person next to you, and they look at you like you're losing your mind. By 1993, enough residents had complained that the matter reached the United States Congress. Local representatives pushed for an official investigation, and so a team of scientists was assembled. Researchers from the University of New Mexico, from Los Alamos National Laboratory, from Sandia National Laboratories, and from the Phillips Air Force Laboratory. These were not amateurs. Los Alamos is where the atomic bomb was built. Sandia specialized in exactly this kind of technical detective work. If anyone could find a mysterious sound and trace it to its source, it was these people. They went to Taos, they found the hearers, people who reported the sound most reliably, and they set up their equipment in the homes and around the bodies of these residents. Highly sensitive microphones, instruments to measure vibration in the ground, devices to detect electromagnetic fields. They monitored acoustic signals, seismic signals, radio frequencies. They looked for anything, anywhere, on any part of the spectrum that could account for what these people were experiencing. And the results were almost nothing. The instruments picked up no consistent acoustic signal that matched the hum the hearers were describing. No obvious sound wave traveling through the air. The team acknowledged that the residents were genuinely experiencing something. They were not lying. They were not imagining it as a group hallucination. Something was real. The people were sincere and their descriptions were consistent with one another. But whatever it was, the machines could not catch it. The investigators wrote in their report that they were unable to identify any physical source. They could not say what was producing the hum. They could not even confirm that there was a single external sound to find. The study ended without an answer. And that is where the Taos hum settled into legend, a documented, investigated, government-acknowledged phenomenon with no known cause. So over the years, the theories came, and every one of them almost works. The first and most common is industrial noise. Somewhere out there, the argument goes, a machine is running. A factory, a power line, a pump, a piece of equipment humming away at a low frequency, and the sound is carrying for miles across the desert and the mountains. Low-frequency sound travels far and passes through walls in ways higher sounds don't. It's a reasonable idea, but it runs into a wall. If there were a machine loud enough to torment people across a whole town, the instruments should have found it. That's the easiest thing in the world to detect, a steady mechanical drone. And they didn't. And it doesn't explain why only 2% of people can hear it, while their next-door neighbors hear silence. The second theory is that it isn't coming from outside at all, that the Taos hum is being generated inside the human body. There's a well-documented condition called tinnitus, a ringing or buzzing in the ears with no external source. Some researchers have suggested a related phenomenon where a small number of people have unusually sensitive hearing, capable of picking up very low frequencies that most of us simply can't register, and that what they're hearing is their own auditory system or the faint background rumble of the modern world amplified beyond what anyone else notices. This would explain the 2%. It would explain why the microphones found nothing, because there's nothing in the air to find. But it doesn't sit easily with the hearers themselves, who insist the sound is out there in the room in the world, external and physical, not inside their own heads. And it doesn't fully explain why so many of them describe the exact same sound, the same low diesel idle, independently of one another. The third theory reaches further. Some have pointed to distant sources, the deep, low-frequency thrum of ocean waves pounding the coastline hundreds of miles away, a phenomenon called microseism, which really does send low-frequency energy through the earth. Others have suggested military communication systems, high-power radio transmissions used to reach submarines, which operate at extremely low frequencies. And a few have gone further still into the realm of the unprovable. But here's the thing about the Taos hum that keeps it unsolved. It is not the only one. Because once people had a name for it, they started finding it everywhere. Bristol in England reported a hum in the 1970s that affected thousands of people. Windsor in Ontario, Canada. Auckland in New Zealand. Kokomo in Indiana. All over the world, the same story keeps repeating. A low, droning hum that only a small percentage of the local population can hear, that torments those who can, and that investigators go looking for and cannot find. It's the same pattern, again and again, in places thousands of miles apart, with nothing in common. Different climates, different industries, different geology, and yet the same low, idling drone, the same 2%, the same silence from everyone else, which means it is either a phenomenon of the human ear, replaying itself in isolated individuals across the world, or it is something out there, something ordinary and physical that we simply have not learned to detect. Or it is neither of those things, and we are missing something fundamental. For the people of Taos, none of that theorizing helps. Some of them moved away, left the town they loved because they could not stop hearing it. Some learned to live with it. Some describe it as a presence, always there in the quiet hours, a sound with no shape and no source that has become part of the fabric of their lives. And the strangest part isn't the sound itself, it's the divide it creates. In the same house, the same bedroom, the same silence. One person lies awake, tormented, certain there is a machine running somewhere in the dark, and the person beside them hears nothing at all and never will. Two people, the same room, the same night, one of them living in silence, and the other listening to something that, as far as anyone has ever been able to prove, isn't there. The file stays open. Watch with the lights on.